From the information center of First Coast News, this is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Jacksonville will always be a special place to me. It's where I grew up, but I'm so excited to be a Jet.
Tim Tebow is packing his bags. What he's saying about reports he picked playing for New York over coming to Jacksonville.
And bridges, we use them almost every single day. The new technology that's tracking them every second.
Plus, 2-minute advantage. The showers moving toward the First Coast and when you'll need an umbrella in the next 48 hours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Phil Amato.
And I'm Joy Purdy. We will have much more on the Tim Tebow trade coming up in just a minute. Sports director Dan Haken is joining us live.
A lot of people want to hear what's going on. But first, we need to check in on your weather and your traffic together. Steve and Amanda are standing by. Let's go over to Steve first. Had a little showers yesterday. Steve, more today?
Yes, we did. There will be a couple more today, and we'll detail that for you. Not necessarily these, just offshore. Temperature-wise, we're doing pretty good. We're seeing a lot of mid-60s, a couple of upper 50s, and some 70s around that. But by lunch, you're in the mid-70s, and we've got a 20% chance for some afternoon showers with a high of 81. Amanda's in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Well, Steve, we don't have any accidents to talk about, but we do want to let you know that the traffic lights are out on San Jose Boulevard at Beauclair Road following an earlier accident. Give yourself a couple extra minutes if you're traveling through there, and of course, I'll keep you posted on the status of that repair throughout the morning. Now on I-95 northbound, Old St. Augustine Road up to JTB, that's going to take you the usual 8 minutes. Not seeing any delays if you're heading to the downtown area across the Fuller Warren. In 10 minutes, we'll have a live look out at 295 near Old St. Augustine Road. Phil?
New this morning, Tim Tebow is finally speaking out. Just before midnight, the New York Jets' new quarterback held a conference call with the New York media after officially being traded. In a final push, the Jaguars tried to get him yesterday, but just didn't work out.
Reports say Tebow had the ultimate choice of where to go, but he quickly shot that down at the beginning of his call. Listen.
Ultimately, I really didn't have any because the Broncos had all that power. I was just kind of waiting and watching and figuring it out, kind of like everybody else. So it's an interesting day.
Seems very laid back about it. We have live team coverage for you. First Coast News' Eric Spivey joining us live with more news on how Jaguar fans are reacting this morning.
But first, let's head outside to Sports Director Dan Haken. And, you know, people are talking about this, have been for the last 15, 16 hours now. Dan, you buying all this? Did Denver have all the power here, or did Tebow really choose New York over Jacksonville?
Well, I'm not going to, sit here and question Tim Tebow, but it's an interesting day. That's to be sure. And ultimately, we'll probably never really know exactly how everything unfolded. But just to review for you guys real quickly, we do know the Jets had a deal for Tim Tebow, but they botched it. The Jets did. They didn't look at the contract before they announced the trade. And in the contract, there was a $5 million payout to the Broncos. Whoa, hey, we can't pay this. So they backed off and until they had to work it out, right? So that's what happened. When that happened, the Jags jumped back in. Now, the first question there is, well, why did the Jags jump back in? Why didn't they get them earlier? What was the deal there? The way I understand it is ultimately that both sides were close in what they were offering. Yes, Denver had the decision, and Denver said all along they were going to do what's best for the Broncos. If Tebow had some say in it, look, the bottom line is this. His agent is the same agent for the Jets coaches, Rex Ryan and Tony Sparano, the offensive coordinator. The Jets coaches talked to Tebow yesterday, that I know, and really sold him on the idea that, yes, you can come here and you can compete for the job. And so I think those were some of the factors that were involved in whoever decided for whomever where Tim Tebow was going to play. The bottom line is this. Tim Tebow is not coming here, and Shad Khan did try to get him. So you have to kind of give Mr. Khan credit as well. I understand that he was willing to put up $2.5 million to meet the Broncos halfway, and ultimately the decision was made, and Tim Tebow is now a New York Jet.
Interesting. We hadn't heard that yet. Dan, thanks. And also, talking of trading Tebow, it started last week. You remember he was here for that fundraiser at Christ Church right on the First Coast. You got to talk to him. Did he give you any indication about what was going on behind the scenes? You were the one who was able to get closest to him.
You know, Joy, I think he was Tim's always going to say the right thing. Always is going to say the right thing. But being around the Tebow camp, if you will, look, the bottom line is back then it wasn't where are we going to go. It was, man, this is unbelievable. This is the NFL. It's a business. the Broncos out of really nowhere had the opportunity to chase Peyton Manning. And I don't think the Tebow folks were thrilled with how it was handled out in Denver. I know that they never called them and said, hey, Tim, look, here's what we're thinking. This is what we're doing. I would have hoped that ultimately Denver would have allowed Tebow to choose where he wanted to go. I figure that's the least they could do. After all, he did quarterback them to a Western Division title, a playoff victory, and I think their owner put a lot of money in his pocket with those 15 jerseys that were all over Mile High Stadium. So it's been an interesting week for Tim Tebow and his family. At least now he knows his next destination, and the Jaguars also can move on knowing that, you know what, we took a shot at it as well. So I think that's kind of how it's all worked out.
You know, Dan, real quick, you said that your guys have said that Khan was willing to give that $2.5 million to work the deal. So if that's the case, was it more of a draft pick number that maybe didn't get the deal done for Jacksonville and it did for the Jets?
Yeah, because in the bottom line is the Jets and the Broncos also met halfway on the money as well. So who was going to give the better offer? The Jets did give a couple draft picks to get Tim Tebow, and I don't know. We don't know, and we'll never know. And we waited until I think 11:30 just to tell you how hard Gene Smith works. We were over at the stadium past 11:30 last night, and he hadn't come out yet. So it's been a strange few days for the Jaguars. But again, if you read what Mr. Khan said, I think he was, you know, happy with how his team aggressively pursued Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Well, I know you worked a late night as well last night, Dan. Thanks so much.
All right, guys.
Well, as fate would have it, the number 15 jersey for the Jets, it's available to Tim Tebow. That's according to the New York Daily News. Many Jaguars fans hoping he'd be wearing this jersey, a teal one. First Coast News' Eric Spivey continues our team coverage with the harsh reaction from Jaguars fans today. It's been all over the web, Eric.
And I've been trolling our First Coast News Facebook page. Nothing lights it up more than Tim Tebow news. I'm just going to read you just a sampling. Denise Hires wrote, how many chances do the Jags need to be given? Seriously, the $5 million Jags would have to pay for him, and we just learned from Dan Hicken it was just $2.5 million, is peanuts compared to the money they would make off of him. That's just one comment of 190 on one of the posts on our First Coast News Facebook page. Now, Tim Tebow, he lit up the highlight reel out in Denver, so a lot of people were hoping he could do that for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but for whatever reason, maybe we'll never know exactly, he's not coming to the Jaguars. We did get some fresh sound from Tim Tebow overnight after the dizzying array of news and developments. Here's what he said to reporters overnight about his move now to the New York Jets.
Like you said, it's been, you know, just waiting and seeing and figuring out what's going to happen and, you know, where I'm going to be playing football. And the whole time the Broncos have been very great in this whole process. And I'm very thankful to end up at a great organization, the Jets.
All right, and you had to know it was coming. Whenever Rashad Khan became the owner, it was Khan, you dig it. One of our First Coast News Facebook fans has said, Khan job. They feel like they were taken because they feel they were so close to getting Tim Tebow, our hometown hero, and it just didn't come together. Eric Spivey, First Coast News.
All that passion out there. All right. Thank you, Eric. Well, Jaguars owner Rashad Khan released a statement after it was announced Tim Tebow had been traded. He says, in part, quote, our commitment to developing Blaine Gabbert was and still is central to our goal of returning the Jags to elite status in the NFL. We're looking ahead with zero regrets. Right now, a very heated debate continues on our Facebook page about Tim Tebow's trade to the Jets. You can add your 2 cents worth by liking firstcoastnews.com. New York Daily News this morning says Tim Sanity headed to New York now. All right. Well, not going down without a fight. He's been in a police standoff for more than 24 hours now. Why the French suspect in a deadly school attack says he's not giving up.
Plus, calling for justice. The rally planned today for a Florida teenager shot and killed by a neighborhood watch captain.
Now, First Coast News Live Doppler, your 2-minute advantage.
And I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. Good morning, everyone. All right, the 2-minute advantage. I've got it in motion for you. Those showers offshore, they're fading away. Now, I'm not completely taking showers out of the forecast. I'm still keeping some in there today, but I'm only going with 20%. 40% for Friday, so you can see those numbers are going up. Saturday, even more rain to deal with, and then temperatures dropping for Monday. Let's go to Amanda right now in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling on San Jose Boulevard this morning, you will want to give yourself a couple extra minutes. The traffic lights are still out at Beauclair Road. JSO on scene, as well as people working to repair that light, but in the meantime, again, give yourself some extra time. Now here's a live look, 295 at Old St. Augustine Road. Those southbound lanes continue to pick up. 11 minutes to get from Blanding Boulevard down to I-95. In 10 minutes, we'll check out the eastbound lanes of I-10. Bill?
Hungry for the Hunger Games, what all the craze is about in the new film set to hit the silver screen tonight.
Plus, just a fad? Why experts say the Jupes Cleanse craze may really be about the cash behind it.
And how new technology for Jacksonville bridges will impact how we pass along our weather information to you. Our time is 6:16. We're following what's new, what's now, and what's next for you this morning. This morning, some believe the 24-year-old suspected gunman holed up in an apartment in France may have committed suicide. This is a live look outside his home right now in Toulouse, France. France's interior minister says Mohamed Merah hasn't been heard from since last night. Merah is the chief suspect in a series of al-Qaeda-linked killings. Authorities still hope to be able to take him alive. The Reverend Al Sharpton is planning to hold a rally today in Sanford, Florida, calling for the arrest of George Zimmerman. That's the Community Watch volunteer who shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin last month in Sanford. Zimmerman claims the shooting was in self-defense.
A grand jury will be seated next month to launch an investigation into the shooting death of Trayvon Martin. On Wednesday, hundreds of people gathered in New York City for an event they called the Million Hoodie March. Martin was wearing a hoodie when he was shot by Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman last month at Sanford. Martin's parents were among those who marched.
A new weather tracking system is going in at key points all over the First Coast.
Crews from the Department of Transportation, they're installing wind meters on 22 bridges so they can better know when they're no longer safe to cross in a storm. We have team coverage of how this would affect information we pass along to you. Steve and Amanda standing by with how the current system works. But first for you, Claire Sims, live on the Main Street Bridge with who's paying for this service. Claire.
Good morning, Joy and Phil. Let me show you what these sensors look like. The one here on the Main Street Bridge is already installed. The DOT is still working on putting in a bunch more. This is being paid for by the North Florida Transportation Planning Organization. In all, software and the actual hardware is costing about $200,000. But basically what it's doing is instead of somebody standing up here on the bridge with one of these anemometers to test how fast the wind is going, they're taking that human error out of the equation.
We're starting to incorporate science into the decision, and we are also able to share that information ahead of time on a scientific basis.
So again, these were about $200,000 in total, $150,000 for the 22 sensors that are going in all over the First Coast, and about $50,000 to compile all that data. They're still working on that program so that you and I will be able to look up when those bridges might close. Now let's check in with meteorologist Steve Smith. He'll tell you how high the winds have to get. Steve?
All right, thank you, Claire. Good morning, everyone. All right, now when we talk about the bridges, and I'm looking at the downtown bridges here, there's a couple of things they're looking at. One, we're talking about sustained winds where it holds a particular speed for at least a minute or more. The initial threshold is 30 miles per hour. At that point, everybody's on alert and they're saying, okay, let's be prepared. We may have to go to the bridges and take some action. By the time the wind speeds get up to about 39 miles per hour, then they're talking about, and we're talking about sustained for at least 1 minute, then they're talking about shutting the bridges down. And of course, you know, at 39 miles an hour, that's the threshold for tropical storm force winds, and anything higher than that, of course, the bridges are definitely closed. Now, we're not looking for anything near that type as far as our weather is concerned this morning. We're looking at the 2-minute advantage. Our skies are dry for now. We've got temperatures that are already in the 60s, but we will be looking at highs today that will go into the 80s, and as you head offshore, we've got inland waters with a light chop, 3 to 5 foot seas, southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. Low 80s all the way through the weekend, a 20% chance for showers today, 40% tomorrow, and I'm going with 50% for Saturday, and I think Saturday is really the day that we're going to get widespread coverage with those showers. Amanda standing by in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Well, Steve, we'll talk more about those wind sensors coming up about 6:50, but we just got an alert from the Florida Highway Patrol. Blanding Boulevard northbound right near Alligator Boulevard in Middleburg. There is a northbound lane blocked there on Blanding, so you are going to start seeing some slow traffic there. Maybe take US 17 northbound as an alternate route to avoid that. Now, the traffic lights are still out San Jose Boulevard at Beauclair Road. That's following a wreck that happened at about 3 o'clock this morning. Give yourself some extra time if you're traveling in the area, and of course, I'll keep you posted when those lights are repaired. Now, if you're traveling in the eastbound lanes of I-10, 295 up to 95, that's going to take you the usual 7 minutes right now. Here's a live look, I-10 west of Cassett. Things are starting to pick up, so we did add a couple extra just to be on the safe side, but no major delays just yet. In 10 minutes, we will have a live look out at I-95. Joy?
And the right dose this morning, a wave of juice is sweeping the nation in the form of cleanses meant to clean out your system of all impurities. But for companies introducing the products, it's not about the cleanse, but the cash out.
Americans are all juiced up. Small operations to big ones are hoping to clean up on cleansing.
People drink it even though they don't like vegetables.
Starbucks has bought Evolution Fresh to try to do for juices what it's done for coffee. Celebrity pitchmen, including Selma Hayek, who started Cooler Cleanse 4 years ago. Gwyneth Paltrow is pitching the clean program on her website. And even rugged George Clooney has admitted to a short diet of only liquefied fruits and vegetables in a cleanse.
3 to 5 days is a standard minimum.
Pressed Juicery's Jasmine Jacobson says its cleansing program costs $48 a day plus delivery. It costs $65 a day at New York-based Blueprint Cleanse, now very big on Wall Street, even among men who prefer to cleanse as a group.
But we definitely see significant numbers of groups of dudes drinking juice together.
Some doctors warn you should cleanse in moderation, and some juices have more sugar in them than soda.
Fresh Juicery.
Even so, the beverage industry expects juice smoothies and yogurt drinks to top $1 billion by 2015 for a habit that can be expensive and hard.
So, do you think juice cleanses work? We want to know. Like us on Facebook and get in on that discussion.
If they have 2-for-1 specials, that'd be even better. State of the Unions, it's a hot talker on Facebook. The bad news for married couples this morning.
Plus, disgusting dump. What one Occupy protester is accused of leaving behind that has him behind bars. And
when Jacksonville's youngest murder suspect will go on trial.
Here's today's Deal Chicken Deal of the Day.
Save 54% on a 60-minute European facial at Perfection Skin and Body Studio located in Arlington. Only $25 for a $55 value.
For this and other great deals, sign up now at DealChicken.com.
So what's the #1 free entertainment app for the iPhone? It's Action Movie FX. I had so much fun playing with this last night. Take a look. What it does, it gives you Hollywood effects to videos you shoot on your iPhone or iPad. Here's a shot just down my street here in the area of where I live, and all of a sudden, oh, a boulder just came right there. Isn't that amazing? Another one, you know, my car here, my truck is right in the front of my driveway, and I shot it, and all of a sudden, out from nowhere, it just explodes. So those are some of the apps you could do. And here's a shot in the on the golf course here, if we could get it going. And here it is right there. A couple of guys playing golfing here, just golfing, and we can't see that one because, but actually what happens is, there it is right here, and a van just comes right to you. You can put this on any video you want. You shoot it, have the effect, it's free. You get 3 free apps. You got to pay for other ones along the way. It's called, once again, Action Movie FX, only on the iPhone right now, not on the Android. If you have maybe an app you'd like to have me profile, just email me at pamato@firstcoastnews.com. Joy?
Boys and their toys. All right, Phil. The Hunger Games hits the big screen tonight at midnight and is expected to be a huge success. The series, which looks to follow in the footsteps of Harry Potter and the Twilight series, has sold millions of books. Though unlike Twilight, which had a huge female audience, romance in the Hunger Games takes a back seat to action, which some think will get more men to the theater.
What we call this is basically a 4-quadrant movie. Moviegoers over 25 and under 25, male and female.
Online ticket seller Fandango says it's already sold out more than 2,000 screenings, the most ever for a movie that's not a sequel.
Yeah, my daughter's seeing that tonight. She's excited. Much more ahead for you on Good Morning Jacksonville.
Great escape. A death row inmate who murdered an Orange Park teen just tried to escape from prison. All new at 6:30 a.m. The two insiders now facing charges for trying to help her get away with it.
Tim Tebow to the Jets, not the Jaguars. What he's saying overnight about why he's not coming back home.
And the Acosta Bridge has it, the Main Street Bridge has it, the brand new technology that's designed to help keep you safe when severe weather strikes.
From the Information Center of First Coast News, this is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joy Purdy. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Phil Amato. If you're just waking up with us, we want to tell you that Tim Tebow is officially heading to New York City. He's going to be a Jet. The Jets finally agreed to trade him. We'll have much more on that in just a minute.
Yeah, we've been arguing with people on Facebook about it, back and forth, back and forth. But first, we want to get a check of your weather and traffic. Let's start with meteorologist Steve Smith as Amanda Zitzman stands by. Hey, Steve.
Hey, guys. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday Eve, and no back and forth with the weather at all. Had a couple of small showers offshore. Those are starting to dissipate, but I'm not completely taking showers out of the forecast. Right now, we've got, for the most part, 60s and near 70, but the cool spot right now, Cecil Field on the west side at 57 degrees. Clouds build a little bit as we go through the day. By lunch, we're mid-70s with east winds at 13. Couple hours after that, we're maxing out at 81 degrees. There is a 20% chance of showers, but there's more on the way this weekend. I've got Amanda right now in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning, everyone. Right now, we do have an accident on Blanding Boulevard northbound in Middleburg. It's right near Alligator Boulevard. Now, we are all told, according to FHP, that there is one northbound lane blocked here, so you are going to see a little bit of a delay as you pass by. Give yourself a couple extra minutes. Maybe try taking US 17 instead. Now, the traffic lights are out on San Jose Boulevard at Beauclair Road, according to JSO. That's from an earlier accident, happened at about 3 a.m., and it did impact the lights there. So we'll keep you posted on the status of that repair. In the meantime, give yourself a couple extra minutes if you're traveling in that area. Now, here's a live look at I-95 just north of Emerson. There is a police officer on the scene there. Not clear if they pulled somebody over, if there's an accident, or potentially just a disabled vehicle, but I did want to pull it up for you guys. I spotted it on the DOT camera. Not impacting traffic, as you can see there. North and southbound lanes moving at the speed limit. In 10 minutes, we'll update you on the problems we're following and have a live look out at I-295. Phil?
Well, hot off the presses, this is the front page of the New York Daily News this morning.
Take a look. It says, brace yourself, Big Apple. Tim's sanity is officially upon us. Tebow Town.
Oh, boy. Leave it to the Daily News, huh?
That's pretty funny,
It's
though.
creative. You bet it is. Now that Tim Tebow is a Jet, that means, of course, he's not a Jaguar here in his hometown.
And that is making a lot of fans on the First Coast pretty upset. First Coast News' Eric Spivey joining us live with more from the Information Center. Hey, Eric.
It's a tough pill to swallow this morning. There are sad faces all around Jacksonville as Tim Tebow heads to the Jets. I've been checking out our First Coast News Facebook page. It's been lighting up with all things Tim Tebow, especially since word developed late during the overnight hours that he was indeed going to the New York Jets. Angie Smith said it's a sad shame if Khan doesn't make it work. He didn't make it work, and Tim Tebow is not coming to his hometown. Now, some news developed that it was Tim Tebow's decision that he wanted to go to the Jets or did he want to go to the Jaguars. That's what was floated out there last night. But we got some fresh sound in from Tim Tebow during the overnight hours. He answers the question, was it your decision where you were going, the Jaguars or the Jets? Here's his response.
Well, good question. Ultimately, I really didn't have any because the Broncos had all that power, and they're very gracious. We're talking to my agent pretty much all day.
And he says that now he's heading to the Jets, and he will be the backup to Mark Sanchez there. The Jaguars will have to go with Blaine Gabbert, who had a shaky rookie season last season. Now, I want to share with you something from our friends at KUSA, our sister station in Denver. Here's what Tim Tebow did in just one season as a starter in Denver. It's a montage of his highlights. It's pretty neat to watch. Take a listen.
Tebow's going to be into the end zone. Sets, throws. He's got Demaryius Thomas. Thomas has got the football. Touchdown, Denver. Tebow's going to find himself into the end zone, and Tebow has a Denver touchdown.
Tebow 15, inside the 10, inside the 5. Are you kidding?
throws, pass caught. Demaryius Thomas, touchdown! Denver is over!
Can you tell I'm disappointed this morning? None of that's coming to Jacksonville. Very disappointing for not just me, but all the Jaguar fans in town. But a good glimmer of hope here. Mike Flory, our good friend at Pro Football Talk, he reported overnight as well that he still thinks the Jaguars have a chance in a few years if it doesn't work out in New York. Back to you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Don't hurt yourself.
A little aggravated this morning.
Well, we reached out to Tim Tebow's parents to get their reaction. His father told us the family appreciates the community's support, but they prefer to let their son do the talking. The elder Tebow says he had nothing to do with contract negotiations and found out the information the same time we did. Tim's brother, Robbie Tebow, was speculating on Twitter about where his brother would end up. We even found this picture of the brother. It's a little blurry, but you can see that Robbie is wearing a New York Jets hat.
Yes, he has. So with bye-bye Tim Tebow, is it bye-bye money too? Some local sports shops we talked to say they were banking on Tebow coming to play for Jacksonville.
The word is from my boss, we would have gone through about 4,000 or so T-shirts immediately this week, which would translate in between $80,000 to $100,000 in sales.
Oh, shoot, huh?
Yeah, that's going to be a big hit, but you know, that's the way it goes. There would have been another 500 or so jerseys on order that would have been coming in. So it would have been huge from a business standpoint.
This is a bad hit. Last year, we had more people here watching the Denver game for Tim Tebow than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I bet we could have made $3,000 a Sunday more if he'd have been our Jag. It's just so sad.
Jacksonville's loss is New York's gain.
It's a lot of cash, isn't it? Boy, of course, we have everything Tim Tebow online except his merchandise at firstcoastnews.com. Just look under our top stories.
Our time right now, 6:36. Governor Rick Scott has ordered flags be flown at half-staff tomorrow in honor of a late Corrections Department officer. Sergeant Reuben Thomas was killed Sunday at the Columbia Correctional Institution. An inmate is accused of stabbing him. Governor Scott has asked that flags at all Florida Department of Corrections institutions, the City Hall of Lake City, and the Columbia County Courthouse be lowered in his honor. Thomas's funeral is set for tomorrow morning at Christ Central Ministries. That's on Dial Road in Lake City. New at 6 a.m., after spending nearly 2 decades on Tennessee's death row, a woman who murdered an Orange Park teenager is facing new charges that she tried to escape.
In 1995, Krista Gale Pike tortured 19-year-old Colleen Slimmer, who was in college at the time. This morning, Slimmer's mother is speaking out. Robin Wilhoit with our sister station, WBIR, reports.
I mean, she's a very dangerous individual. Having someone like that escape is the last thing that law enforcement wants to see.
Not to mention Mae Martinez. It was her daughter, Colleen Slimmer, who was tortured and murdered by Krista Gale Pike. They were both Knoxville Job Corps students in 1995. Spurred on by an alleged love triangle, Pike and her then boyfriend lured Slimmer to the UT Ag campus. They crushed her skull with asphalt, beat her, and carved a pentagram on her chest. Pike took a piece of Slimmer's skull as a souvenir. A jury found Pike guilty, and for 17 years, she's been the only woman sitting on Tennessee's death row.
Killing her is not going to bring my daughter back, and it's too easy for her to just be put to sleep. I prefer her to be with general population, but the law says no.
I love you. The fact that Pike even thought of breaking out of prison leaves Martinez stunned and disturbed.
I'm just wondering how Tennessee can just go ahead and allow that in a maximum control prison that somebody actually can try to escape, especially somebody on death row. That's telling me somebody's not doing their job.
In late January, officials at the Tennessee Prison for Women in Nashville got wind of Pike's plan to escape. In on that plan, a family friend from New Jersey, Donald Kohut, who visited her frequently. Officials say he met corrections officer Justin Helfin, and that's when they say Kohut started giving Helfin cash and gifts in exchange for his help.
There's contraband found that would have helped her escape, and so that's what we were able to do, was to stop that threat early before the escape actually happened.
With the plan now thwarted, Krista Gale Pike will continue to spend her days on death row.
Well, back here on the First Coast, coming up at 7 a.m. on Good Morning America, Krista Gale Pike, she's being called the most dangerous woman in America. Now with the latest prison escape plot, her privileges on death row are gone. what she will no longer be able to do, plus what happens to the two men involved in the conspiracy. That is next at 7 a.m. right here on ABC 25.
Restricted access, why parts of St. Augustine's Beach are unavailable to the public right now.
Plus, unlucky in love, the probability newly married couples will never make it past 20 years. We're crunching the new numbers and weighing in.
Now, First Coast News Live Doppler, your 2-minute advantage.
And I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's Friday Eve. It's Thursday. Out in the Atlantic, a couple of showers had been out there. We had been tracking them. They're slowly disappearing. We're also keeping an eye on the fogometer this morning. Cecil Field on the west side, half-mile run there, or half-mile visibilities. Outside of that, everybody else in the 4 to 10-mile range. Temperatures are in the 60s right now. Looking for low 80s, a 20% chance for rain. Amanda.
Well, Steve, along San Jose Boulevard, the traffic lights are still out at Beauclair. They are working to get that fixed, but you will see some delays along San Jose in the meantime. That's from an earlier wreck. You could maybe take Old St. Augustine Road or US 1 I-95 as an alternate route to avoid delays, but definitely give yourself a couple extra minutes there. Now on Blanding Boulevard northbound near Alligator Boulevard in Middleburg, there is an accident. That one's being moved to the side of the road, so hopefully it won't cause a delay for you too much longer. You could always take US 17 instead. Here's a live look at 295 just north of US 17. North and southbound lanes continue to pick up. As you can see there, it looks like the picture froze a little bit. There it is, it's back. So things continue to pick up, but we aren't seeing any major problems around town. We'll update you in 10 minutes, though. Have a live look out at I-10. Phil?
Scuffle in the South, the controversial topics that have President Obama under fire with GOP candidates today.
Plus, what an Occupy protester is accused of dumping literally at a demonstration site.
And this futuristic-looking device is designed to help you in severe weather. I'm Claire Sims. I'll tell you where they're going in and what they do.
Welcome back, everyone. The Good Morning Jacksonville team is covering everything you need to know.
Top stories, weather, and traffic. It's your 15-minute power block of nonstop news.
Just out this morning, a new study finds if you plan to walk down the aisle, you'll likely find yourself in divorce court years later.
Many people already talking about this study on our Facebook page. Opinions split down the aisle. Some are calling it just paperwork and a name change. Others say it works with the right communication and patience. First for you, NBC's Tracy Potts, live from Washington, D.C. Tracy, 3 of us are married here on Good Morning Jacksonville. Yep. Phil, me, Steve, the rest still single. We want to know what researchers found. Then we'll weigh in with our opinions.
Make that 4. I'm coming up on 15 myself. But turns out not as many people in this country are getting married compared to, say, 20 years ago. The CDC found that about 2 million marriages in this country. Used to be 2.5 million in the early 90s. But the divorce rates really haven't changed since the early 70s. Almost half the marriages in this country end in divorce. Almost half end before 20 years, so a lot to look at there. Also, what has changed, and this was a big change, the number of people living together has quadrupled. Now, it's only about 1 in 10, but that's 4 times the last time that they did this study. People may not be aware, though, that according to these numbers, women in particular who live with a partner before getting married doesn't guarantee that marriage is going to last longer. In fact, they have a lesser chance of surviving that marriage than someone who does not live together before they get married. The age at which people are getting married, much older now, college grads and women not getting married as fast, delaying those marriages. In Florida, we know, interestingly, marriage more popular among men than women. 51% of men, only 47% of women are married. So I know you guys, between you, have what, like 100 years almost
just about
marriage experience. Well, between the 3 of you, let me clarify here. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I've been married 23 years. I got married in my late 20s, and I mean, it's worked, and it's worked just fine. I think it actually has gotten better as we get older, and we're in our early 50s now.
Steve, you've been married a while too.
Yeah, I got married in my mid to late 30s, and I agree with Phil. It gets better as you go along.
How long have you been married?
16. Almost 16.
Right.
Yeah, almost 16.
You can't even really ask me. I've been married 5 years, and so we're still in that honeymoon stage. So I'm having fun.
That's we've noticed.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's right. 4 more months, another baby. All right, well, thanks, Tracy. some good information. But things are good here, so that's good. All right. Now, we've received numerous responses to this story on Facebook. Whether you're married or single, we want to hear your opinion on this new study. Just like us on Facebook and get in on the conversation.
Whew, all right. Today, President Obama will be in Oklahoma, where he will direct the federal government to fast-track the approval of the southern part of the Keystone Oil Pipeline. Republicans are criticizing him for making a big deal out of the plan, since the president has opposed rushing the more controversial northern part of the pipeline. As the GOP candidates prepare for Saturday's primary in Louisiana, Mitt Romney is being attacked after one of his advisors compared him to an Etch-a-Sketch.
Imagine, had Mitt Romney been around at the time we were drafting our Constitution, he'd have just shaken it and just shook it up after it was approved to rewrite it.
Romney says his position won't change. There was some good news for the Republican frontrunner yesterday. Romney got an endorsement from former Florida Governor Jeb Bush.
Well, hundreds of thousands of veterans are currently unemployed, and we're teaming up with NBC Joy to help them get back to work. Tomorrow, First Coast News will participate in an initiative called Hiring Our Heroes. If you know a veteran in need of a job, just email us his or her picture and resume to heroes@firstcoastnews.com. We'll compile those emails and we'll hold a phone bank to help get your hero back to work. We posted additional information as well about this on our website. Just log on to firstcoastnews.com.
Our time right now, 6:50. Here's what's new, what's now, and what's next. An Occupy supporter is being accused of dumping a bucket of human waste inside of an ATM lobby right outside a JP Morgan Chase building. He's being charged with unlawful possession of noxious matter. He was in charge of bringing food to some of the Wall Street protesters. Developing right now in Toulouse, France, the Associated Press is reporting that gunfire and explosions were heard in the last 15 minutes at a police standoff involving a shooting suspect. You're looking live right now outside the area where the 24-year-old suspected gunman has been holed up in the apartment for more than 24 hours. Mohammed Marat claims he's linked with Al-Qaeda. Authorities still hope to be able to take him alive. And IBM's Jeopardy-winning computer called Watson will be getting some training at a renowned Manhattan Cancer Hospital. Watson will be upgraded with the latest cancer research along with the hospital's accumulated experience. The hope is the computer can be used for fast, personalized cancer diagnosis and treatment.
Now, First Coast News Live Doppler, your 2-minute advantage.
And I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. Good morning, everyone. The 2-minute advantage is Jacksonville's only live Doppler sweep. The showers that were offshore have dried up, but that doesn't mean that we're going to dry up for the day. As we get into the afternoon, a few sea breeze showers will develop just on the western edges of town and then out toward I-75, and it will continue that push. As a matter of fact, during the late evening right along I-75, may see a couple of thunderstorms develop. And then for Friday, I think a little bit better for the overall coverage, again with the sea breeze happening. And then as we head into Saturday, we've got a front coming in, and that means widespread showers for everybody and the possibility of thunderstorms as well. Looking at our temperatures right now, we're getting off to a great start. We should be in the mid-50s right now. We're seeing basically low 60s and some 70s around the area. Let's show you the 7-day forecast at this point. We're going to stay in the 80s through the weekend, but as we get into Friday and Saturday, we're talking about increasing those rain chances, and then Sunday things tail off, and then we cool off for Monday and Tuesday. All right, let's talk about some windiness while we track storms with a 2-minute advantage. Traffic engineers are now tracking wind speeds on local bridges. And first for you this morning, Claire Sims is live on the Main Street Bridge with what the new system may have for you in an emergency.
Good morning, Steve. We are live on the Main Street Bridge where traffic is picking up. And as these cars go by every single second, this wind sensor is sending information to traffic planners who are tracking how fast the wind is going, because we all know that when we drive on a bridge, if it's too windy, it's just plain dangerous. And they say this and devices like it all over the First Coast are going to keep us safe.
As cars fly across the Main Street Bridge, a small white device is making sure they're safe. The DOT and the North Florida TPO are installing these wind sensors on 22 bridges across our area so they can get better prepared in a storm.
Is it going to get worse? Is it dying down? Is it something that we need to prepare for a more severe event?
Every second, the sensors here send wind information to NOAA satellites over the Gulf of Mexico. Those satellites then send the information to the DOT and will soon go straight to local emergency responders who can shut down unsafe overpasses.
Folks can get cut off very quickly if a bridge does close. So it's very important to understand the conditions and know how long we can maintain traffic flow on those bridges during these events.
By this summer, planners hope that drivers will be able to go online and look up wind speeds along their route before getting behind the wheel.
It's fun to be sort of the guinea pig in testing these new scenarios and maybe affecting how it's treated across the country in the future.
All right, right now, these sensors have been installed on probably a little more than half of the bridges that are going to have them. They say it's going to be April before they get all of them installed, and then they're hoping by May or June that they'll have the software so that you and I can look up those wind speeds before we get on the road. They're also hoping to come up with some sort of cell phone app so people who are on the road will be able to check whether that bridge has good driving conditions or not. Now, let's check in with Amanda Zitzman. She's continuing our team coverage right now in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Well, Claire, the main problem with a bridge closure during severe weather is there's really no alternate route for you to take. According to the Emergency Operations Center, if the weather is so bad to the point where a bridge is shutting down, drivers basically just shouldn't be on the roadways. You should be seeking shelter. That's why if a severe storm's coming, they issue evacuations and alerts so you're prepared ahead of time and can get to a safe location. That way you won't get stuck if those sensors determine a bridge must be closed. So you have to rely on the 2-minute advantage. Sign up for our text alerts, find us on Facebook, and we will send out any alerts as they come in whenever we have severe weather. Now, we do have a couple of alerts in the traffic center for you. Blanding Boulevard northbound near Alligator Boulevard, there is an accident. That one's been moved to the side of the road. FHP still on the scene, though, so use some extra caution as you pass by the area. Now, according to JSO, the traffic lights are still out on San Jose Boulevard at Beauclair Road. As traffic starts to pick up, that's definitely going to impact your commute, so give yourself a couple extra time. Maybe take US 1 or I-95 as an alternate route to San Jose. Now, here's a live look at I-10 in Stockton Street. Those eastbound lanes continue to pick up as you head down to that I-95 merger. 6 to 7 minutes to get from 295 up to 95. In 10 minutes, we will have a live look out at I-95. Phil?
Well, a heads up for anyone traveling in the Mayport area tonight. Overnight, the Navy base gates will be closed to everyone except mission critical and mission essential personnel. It's part of Operation Solid Curtain. Gates will be back open at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spring break is making some beachgoers take notice of a closed St. Augustine beach. The St. Augustine Pier has actually been closed since November, but not many realized it during the winter months. The beach is still open, of course. Some are wondering what's going on with this pier. First for you, Billy Zietz is in charge of St. Johns County beaches. He says the pier is closed because at high tide, there's no beach to get to because the waves hit the rocks by the seawall.
Due to the wave action and the rocks that are there, we were unable to maintain a safe pedestrian access to this stretch of beach.
The closed sign will soon come down in May or June. Zietz says it will reopen after a beach renourishment project is complete. We're getting new details about Jacksonville's offer to get Tim Tebow this morning.
First Coast News' Eric Spivey joining us live with more on our top story. Eric, this is very interesting what you found.
Yeah, the saga for Tim Tebow keeps going on and on. Of course, it became official. He's going to the Jets, and we're learning more about Jacksonville's offer. This was just posted on ESPN.com. It says that the Jaguars were willing to offer the Denver Broncos most, if not all, of the $5 million in question. Now, the Jets only gave about half of that, but Tim Tebow apparently was more impressed with the Jets' office management and coaching staff, which would seem to indicate perhaps he wasn't as impressed with the Jaguars' coaching staff. I have a feeling this is not going to be over. This story is continuing to grow. A lot of fans angry and upset. Tim Tebow is not coming back to his hometown. Eric Spivey, First Coast News.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Well, it's time for your out-the-door headlines right now. Outrage over the death of an unarmed Florida teen shot and killed by Community Watch volunteer continues to grow this morning. The Reverend Al Sharpton will hold a rally late today calling for the arrest of George Zimmerman. Zimmerman admits to the shooting but claims it was in self-defense.
Closing arguments begin today in the vehicular homicide trial of Polo Club founder John Goodman. He's accused of DUI manslaughter, vehicular homicide, and leaving the scene of a crash. It happened in February of 2010 that knocked another vehicle into a Florida canal. Goodman says he didn't realize he had hit another vehicle and left to get help for his injuries.
Later on today, the full Florida Senate will take up revised redistricting maps. The Florida Supreme Court ruled 8 districts on the original map violated anti-gerrymandering standards. Floor action on the new map will not wrap up until tomorrow. All right, let's get a final check your morning forecast right now.
Steve?
All right, 20% chance for showers today, more Friday, and even more rain expected Saturday with the front coming in.
Traffic lights are out on San Jose Boulevard at Beauclair. There's also an accident Blanding Boulevard northbound at Alligator Boulevard in Middleburg. There's a live look 95 at JTB. North and southbound lanes continue to pick up.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Jacksonville, best of the worst junk food, the healthiest possible packaged snacks that are sure to please kids and their parents.
And education, there's an app for that, how some high schools are actually teaching students how to develop apps. First for you, how easy it is to get it in the mobile creation. That's tomorrow morning on Good Morning Jacksonville.
Very cool.
See you in a half hour.
Have a good day.